Edinburgh Castle, Scotland's fortress of blood, crowns, and ghosts. For over 1,000 years, this fortress has stood unbroken, a throne for kings, a prison for traitors, a battleground drenched in blood. Its stones whisper secrets of war, betrayal, and the restless dead. Vikings stormed its gates, kings fought for its control. Hidden beneath these walls, a stolen relic that could unmake nations. And at night, they say the pipes still play for those who never left. Welcome to Edinburgh Castle. Perched dramatically on Castle Rock, an ancient volcanic crag, Edinburgh Castle dominates the skyline of Scotland's capital. With a history stretching back over 1,000 years, it is one of the most iconic fortresses in the United Kingdom and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This historic stronghold has witnessed countless battles, royal dramas, and political intrigues, making it a treasure trove of British and Scottish heritage. Early origins and medieval conflicts. The site of Edinburgh Castle has been occupied since the Iron Age, but its significance grew during the Middle Ages. By the 12th century, it had become a key royal residence under King David I, who built St. Margaret's Chapel, the oldest surviving building in Edinburgh, in honor of his mother, Queen Margaret, later canonized as Saint Margaret of Scotland. The castle's strategic position made it a focal point during the Wars of Scottish Independence, 1296 to 1357. It changed hands multiple times between the English and Scottish forces, with Robert the Bruce famously recapturing it in 1314 through a daring nighttime assault. The crown jewels and the honors of Scotland. One of the castle's most prized possessions is the honors of Scotland, the nation's crown jewels, which include the crown, scepter, and sword of state. These were first used together for the coronation of Mary, Queen of Scots, in 1543. After being hidden during Oliver Cromwell's invasion in the 17th century, they were rediscovered in 1818 by Sir Walter Scott and are now displayed in the Crown Room. Military stronghold and prison. From the 16th century onwards, the castle transitioned from a royal palace to a military garrison. It played a crucial role during the Jacobite risings, 1688 to 1746, when supporters of the exiled Stuart dynasty attempted to reclaim the throne. The castle's prisons held numerous captives, including American privateers during the American War of Independence. The Great Hall and Royal Palace. The Great Hall, completed in 1511 under King James IV, is a masterpiece of medieval architecture, with its hammer-beam roof and displays of armor and weaponry. Nearby, the Royal Palace houses the birth chamber of James VI, later James I of England, who united the crowns of Scotland and England in 1603. The 1 o'clock gun and military tradition. A quirky tradition since 1861, the 1 o'clock gun is fired daily, except Sundays, from the castle's Mills Mount Battery. Originally a time signal for ships in the Firth of Forth, it remains a popular tourist attraction. The National War Museum and Scottish regiments within the castle grounds, the National War Museum commemorates Scotland's military history, showcasing artifacts from the Scottish regiments, including uniforms, medals, and personal stories of soldiers. Tourism and cultural events. As one of Scotland's most visited landmarks, the castle attracts millions of tourists each year. Highlights include the Edinburgh Military Tattoo, a spectacular display of music and military precision held annually in August. The Stone of Destiny returned to Scotland in 1996 and now displayed alongside the crown jewels, breathtaking panoramic views of Edinburgh from Princes Street to Arthur's Seat. Ghosts and legends. The castle is reputedly one of the most haunted places in Britain. Tales of a phantom piper, a headless drummer, and the ghostly prisoners of the vaults add to its eerie allure. Edinburgh Castle's imposing position atop Castle Rock is no accident. This volcanic plug, formed over 340 million years ago, offered a natural defensive advantage. Rising 130 meters, 430 feet above sea level, the rock provided uninterrupted views of approaching armies and control over key trade routes. Archaeological evidence suggests human occupation since the Bronze Age, with the Votadini tribe, a Celtic people, likely establishing a hill fort here by the Iron Age. The site's military significance was later recognized by the Romans, who referred to the region as Alana in their records. The reign of David the Fawn and St. Margaret's Chapel. One of the oldest surviving structures within the castle is St. Margaret's Chapel, a small Romanesque building dating back to the early 12th century. Named after Queen Margaret, the pious wife of King Malcolm, the chapel survived multiple sieges and remains a cherished landmark. The Wars of Independence and English Occupation. During the First War of Scottish Independence, 1296 to 1328, the castle became a focal point of conflict. In 1296, King Edward I of England, known as Hammer of the Scots, captured the fortress, only for it to be retaken by Thomas Randolph, Earl of Moray, in a daring night raid in 1314. This victory was a key moment in Robert the Bruce's campaign to secure Scotland's sovereignty. Mary, Queen of Scots and the Rough. Wooing. The castle played a dramatic role in the life of Mary, Queen of Scots. She sought refuge here after her defeat at the Battle of Langside, 1568, before fleeing to England. Earlier, during the Rough Wooing, 1543 to 1551, a series of English invasions aimed at forcing a marriage between Mary and Edward VI. The castle endured heavy bombardment, leaving visible scars on its walls. The Lang Siege, 1571 to 1573. One of the most brutal conflicts in the castle's history was the Lang Siege, where supporters of Mary, Queen of Scots, held out against Regent Morton's forces. The siege ended when English artillery battered David's Tower into rubble, leading to the castle's surrender. The Jacobite rebellions and prisoners of war. By the 18th century, the castle had transitioned into a military stronghold. During the Jacobite uprisings, it housed prisoners, including Highland clansmen captured after the Battle of Culloden, 1746. Later, during the Napoleonic Wars, 1803 to 1815, it detained French soldiers and even American sailors from the War of 1812. The 1 o'clock gun, a timekeeping tradition. Since 1861, the 1 o'clock gun has fired almost daily, except Sundays, Christmas, and Good Friday. Originally intended to help ships in the Firth of Forth synchronize their maritime clocks, today it is a beloved tourist spectacle. The Great Hall, a medieval masterpiece built by King James IV in 1511, the Great Hall boasts one of Scotland's finest hammer-beam roofs. Used for grand feasts and state gatherings, it later served as a military barracks before being restored to its medieval glory in 1887. The Royal Palace and the birth of James VI. The royal apartments include the chamber where Mary, Queen of Scots, gave birth to James VI, later James I of England, in 1566. The crown room nearby displays the honors of Scotland, including the crown of Robert the Bruce, 1306. The Scottish National War Memorial, opened in 1927, this solemn shrine commemorates Scots who died in World War I and later conflicts. Its stunning stained glass and sculptures make it a poignant tribute. The Phantom Piper and other hauntings. Edinburgh Castle is reputedly one of Britain's most haunted sites. Legends speak of a phantom piper who vanished in the castle's tunnels, the headless drummer, an omen of impending disaster, the ghostly prisoners of the vaults where captured soldiers were once held. The fortress has inspired countless works, from Sir Walter Scott's novels to modern films like Outlander and The Da Vinci Code. The Stone of Destiny. Returned to Scotland in 1996, this ancient coronation stone sits in the Crown Room. The Mons Meg Cannon, a 15th-century siege gun capable of firing 150-kilogram stone balls. Prisoners of War exhibition, a recreation of 18th-century captivity conditions. The Edinburgh Military Tattoo, a world-famous military music display held every August, Hogmanay celebrations. The castle is a focal point for Scotland's New Year's Eve festivities. Edinburgh Castle is not merely a relic of history, it is a living symbol of Scottish resilience, royalty, and military pride. Whether exploring its ancient battlements, marveling at the crown jewels, or soaking in the breathtaking views, visitors are walking in the footsteps of kings, soldiers, and legends. One of the most politically charged artifacts housed in Edinburgh Castle is the Stone of Destiny, also known as the Stone of Scone. This ancient sandstone block, weighing 152 kilograms, 336 pounds, was used for centuries in the coronation ceremonies of Scottish kings at Scone Abbey. Edward I's theft and the stone's return. In 1296, King Edward I of England seized the stone as a spoil of war and incorporated it into the coronation chair at Westminster Abbey, where it remained for over 700 years. Its removal was a deliberate act to symbolize England's dominance over Scotland. The stone was temporarily repatriated to Scotland in 1996 following a political campaign and is now displayed in the Crown Room alongside the Honours of Scotland. In 2023, it was briefly moved to London for King Charles III's coronation, reigniting debates about its rightful home. Mythology and legend folklore claims the stone was the biblical Jacob's pillow, brought to Scotland via Egypt, Spain, and Ireland. While geologists confirm it is local red sandstone, its cultural significance remains immense. The Lang Siege, 1571 to 1573, one of the longest and most destructive sieges in the castle's history was the Lang Siege, a pivotal event in the Marian Civil War. Supporters of the imprisoned Mary, Queen of Scots, held the fortress against Protestant forces loyal to her infant son, James VI. Key events: English artillery bombardment destroyed David's Tower, the castle's strongest defense. Starvation tactics forced the defenders to eat horses, dogs, and even rats. The siege ended when miners tunneled beneath the walls, collapsing sections of the fortress. The aftermath saw the castle's rebuilding under Regent Morton, with new Renaissance-style defenses replacing the medieval structures. The Napoleonic Wars and beyond. By the 19th century, the castle had become a key military depot. During the Napoleonic Wars, 1803 to 1815, it housed French prisoners of war, and its vaults were converted into barracks. World Wars and the 20th century World War I, 1914 to 1918, the castle served as a recruitment center and later housed German POWs. World War II, 1939 to 1945. The Scottish Command. Headquarters operated from within its walls, coordinating regional defenses. Cold War, 1947 to 1991. A nuclear bunker was constructed beneath the castle, though its existence was only declassified in 2004. Must-see exhibitions 1. The Honours of Scotland, the oldest crown jewels in Britain dating to 1540. 2. Mons Meg, a 15th century siege cannon capable of firing stone shots over 2 miles. 3. The National War Museum chronicles Scotland's military history from 1707 to today. 4th Prisons of War exhibition, a chilling recreation of 18th century captivity, complete with graffiti by American privateers. Best time to visit August for the Edinburgh Military Tattoo, a spectacular open-air performance featuring bagpipes and military bands. Hogmanay, New Year's Eve. The castle is the centerpiece of Scotland's world-famous celebrations, including fireworks and traditional music. The Phantom Piper. The most famous ghostly resident is the Phantom Piper, a young boy sent to explore the castle's underground tunnels. His pipes were heard for days before falling silent, and his body was never recovered. The Headless Drummer. First sighted in 1650, this spectral figure appears before national disasters, including the death of a monarch. His drumming was last reported before World War II. The lone prisoner visitors to the vaults report seeing a shadowy figure in a ragged uniform, believed to be a French soldier from the Napoleonic Wars. Literature and film. Sir Walter Scott's The Heart of Midlothian, 1818, features the castle as a key setting. Outlander, 2014 to present. The castle appears in flashbacks to Jacobite-era Scotland. The Da Vinci Code, 2003, Dan Brown references the Stone of Destiny in his novel. Assassin's Creed. The castle's architecture inspired in-game locations. Age of Empires 2, features in the Scottish campaign. Edinburgh Castle is more than a tourist attraction. It is a testament to Scotland's turbulent history, a symbol of national pride, and a gateway to the past. Whether you come for the history, the ghosts, or the breathtaking views, the castle leaves an indelible mark on all who visit.